Hello, innovators, and welcome to another episode of the Jens Heitland Show, where I connect the dots of innovation and entrepreneurship with my guests. Today's episode is a HIQA episode, and HIQA stands for Human Innovation Questions Answered. And it's a live show again, so we go into the topic of why is there a magic zone in human innovation? That's what we're talking about. If you have questions, please put them into the chat, and I will try to bring the answers into the live show as well. So let me see what we have so far. Maybe just giving you a little bit background of how did I came up with the magic zone. So this week I was presenting at an international meeting from the company IKEA, and that's one of the companies I've worked in before, which was great to meet old friends and people. But the main part was around how do you collaborate? And because I'm a connector and I am a person who is working with a lot of people, I was talking about that and was bringing the magic zone as one of the triggers of collaboration because I use it in the human innovation system I've built out. So let's go into what is the magic zone in human innovation. From a definition perspective, the magic zone for me, if you look into innovation, is the other topics that are under the surface. They're still known, so that's nothing completely new, but there are things under the surface that prevent you from innovating. So that's the concept of the magic zone. So if you dig into the magic zone, if you go below the surface, that's exactly the zone where the magic happens. That's why I call it the magic zone. So that's a fairly easy definition, but it helps us to establish a way of thinking, go below the surface, find out what are the human aspects of innovation, and then look into how you can use the magic zone and the human aspects of innovation for driving innovation and transformation in organizations, and that can be small or big. So that's my definition. So how does the magic zone play a role in my human innovation system? So just for those who have never heard about the innovation or human innovation system I have been building out over the last years, it's basically a system where I use an approach which is about the leadership, the community, and the business. So the leadership is a key driver, and you can imagine it like a lever. A lever helps us to lift heavy loads. And in a way that you do use less effort. So if you look at the leadership as a lever in supporting your business to be successful in a better way, that's basically where the system starts. Then the lever is not enough to run a business and run it in a way that it drives innovation into your business. What important part as part of using a lever, which is leadership, is the community I was talk about. So community is the aspect which needs to be combined with the lever. That's why I call the community the mechanism. The mechanism, if you look into the basics, is kind of moving parts together that need to be combined so that you are more effective and you are more efficient. So using a lever, which is the leadership, using the mechanism, which is the community, and then creating impact, which I call the business. So business is part of a business has a purpose, and for me, businesses should have the purpose of creating great impact in this world. That's why I focus on impact. So it's basically the effect something can have on something. So that's how it all works together. Important is the magic zone as part of the human innovation system, which is lever, leadership, mechanism, community, and then the impact part is the business. The magic zone is the things that prevent organizations from innovation. Everyone knows all the lovely tools and all the great processes out there, how you can innovate in organizations. A lot of people and a lot of companies miss out on the opportunities and getting this successfully done over a long-term time. So that's why I've created this system which allows us to dig into the magic zone, and that's all about the human innovation aspect. But let's go a little deeper. So how can I then use that inside of the leadership part, which is the lever? How can I lead in the magic zone, if we just go high level, the function of leading is basically getting people towards something in an organizational context. So how do you inspire people inside of an organization to um, work harder, work on specific topics, and get them motivated? So that's more the functional aspect of a leader and leadership inside of an organization. Of course, every one of us gets that. If we then look into, so how do you apply this? That's basically leaders are there to lead others inside of the organization. Also, fairly understandable, and everyone gets that. If you have a charismatic leader, they will be able to motivate people in a different way than if you have a not charismatic leader. So, all the topics are fairly obvious to all of us. If we look into the magic zone, which is again going below the surface, true leadership is happening when a leader is confident. A leader is confident and is in tune with their own values and in tune with themselves. I always explain it, and have, I think, explained it as well in episode number 169 in the last HIQA. Or was it 168? I'm not sure. But it's basically giving you the opportunity in understanding yourself from a brain, heart, and stomach connection. Yeah, that's what I always talk about. But using this example, if you're a good leader inside of the magic zone, if you want to be a good leader inside of the magic zone, you need to understand who you are and how do you lead yourself. If you're able to do this, and that's what I mentioned in the last episode as well, I will not go too much into detail in this Q&A. It's all about understanding your superpower and understanding your ambition and combining the superpower with your ambition, that you can truly lead yourself using a lot of tricks and dynamics in that help you to be an established leader in an organization and someone who leads through passion, who leads the organization in a different way. So if we then go up again into the system, if you want to have a lever that's working, which means a leader in a side of an organization that's empowering the organization to be better, it's a critical part when you look into innovation. Innovation is only going to happen if you have strong leadership capabilities in the organization. That I can't mention that often enough, because I've seen super duper processes implemented in organizations and it's not working because of the leadership angle. Very important. So leadership, I think we're done for now. If we go into, okay, if we have the second part, which is the community or the mechanism, how do I engage the community within the magic zone? So if we go high level again, the function of the community is basically working with each other. You build communities because you benefit from each other. And community, in my context, if we look into the innovation, human innovation system, is all about employees as the first part, then customers, and then as well partners. So everyone who is inside of your ecosystem. So that's the function we all talk about and we all understand. Application is basically, and that was the presentation I was doing in IKEA, was all about the collaboration. So how do you collaborate between all the different people, and how do you build a collaboration mechanism that helps you to innovate, which is of course the purpose of the human innovation system. And then when we say, okay, let's have a look into the magic zone and see what is under the surface. If you want to do this well, it is all based on the human elements of a community. And a community, or let's say if you have more than one person involved, it's all about trust. How do you trust each other? How do you build trust with each other over time and keep trust over time? And an important part when we talk about innovation is not just trust, is as well, how do you build a mechanism inside of the organization? That's why it's the second part, connected to the leader, that is an empowerment mechanism. So the leadership is empowering the organization and empowering the individuals inside of an organization to innovate on a daily basis. And that's fairly simple to do. If you look into an empowerment scheme, it's all about how do you delegate responsibilities to individuals that they have the full possibility to take decisions. And then, as part of delegating responsibility, that also means that you need to give them the accountability to be able to fulfill their role and their task they got delegated. So that's basically, if you go into the human element and into the magic zone, it's all about how do you build trust in an organization? How do you build trust with your employees, with your customers, with your partners inside of the total ecosystem? And if you're able to establish that, then you use an empowerment structure, an empowerment mechanism that helps you to innovate. If we go into the last part, which is impact, how do you impact a business through the magic zone? So going again, high level of a business, everyone understands what a business is that's creating impact in this world. And of course, if we look at it from an economical part, it's you have an organization that is having a purpose, and this purpose is creating good things in this world and making money while doing this. So from an application understanding is this is only working if you have a functioning system as an organization that works from we understand which problems are out there and we know how to solve these problems with the product services we're using and or producing or applying at our clients and or customers. So fairly understandable. And of course, when you look into innovation, the whole system is all about how do you solve these project problems through sourcing and validating ideas as long as possible. Then you put them um, into the let's call it prototyping engine, which is the validation engine, and then you look into what are the different solutions you have found which you can scale into your business. All of this, again, human innovation aspect, magic zone. Let's dive into below the surface. Critical aspects of this, I will just pick two critical human elements of that. One is failing. We all talk about how important it is to failing. If we look into big organizations, and trust me, I have worked in and with organizations that are fairly big. Everyone talks about yes, we need to be able to fail, and we should be nice to ourselves if we're failing, and we should celebrate failing. It's still not there yet. A lot of organizations still need to work on that. Is how do you really truly allow people to fail in an organization and fail in a way that it is positive, enhancing the validation aspect of your mechanism? So that's one part. And then everyone who has worked in a larger organization is understanding that there's a political layer of an organization. So you have an official role, but you can't fulfill this role because someone else who is not having this role or is even not connected to you from a line organization aspect is kind of trying to use their power to do something else and put the energies of the organization somewhere else. This is happening as well, again, every day. So if you solve these issues, if you understand how do we build a failing opportunity that's truly throughout the whole business, enhancing the human aspect of failing inside of an organization, it will help you to innovate in a better way. And if you then are able to lessen the politics, find ways that politics is not an important part of the business, and not saying that it is an important part of a lot of businesses. It's more about it's a given. It's there because people are interested into their status, people are interested into power, and even if you have a very nice company culture, it's still happening all the time. So it's all about how do we prevent the organization from politics dragging this organization into the wrong direction. So that all of the topics when we look into the magic zone. Again, summary. The magic zone is the human aspect or the human level of an organization where we need to go into if we want to innovate in a proper way. I have seen it over and over again, and that's my personal opinion why consultants fail. Organizations take consultants into an organization for a short time. Most of the time, it's less than 6 months. Most of the time, it's even less than 6 weeks, with the idea of, hey, teach us on design thinking. Teach us on how can we do things in a different way and inspire us to build innovation. If you have larger organizations, they take the big consultancies, they're building playbooks, they're building new strategies into the organization. What most of the time is failing long term, because it's often just an injection of innovation, it's not a true innovation system that's built out, it's the human aspect. And that's why I focus so much on these topics, because one thing is I have experienced it myself working in large organizations. The other thing is I'm seeing it every day, educating people in large organizations specifically on these topics, where I work with leaders on a one-on-one base or with management teams as a group. It's a big struggle in organization. Getting into the magic zone will help us to solve this going forward, and that's why I want to highlight this inside of this presentation. You can call it episode. Let's call it episode. So I hope that that gave you an understanding of why the magic zone is so important in human innovation and in innovation in general. I just kind of use the term human innovation just to get us out of the process thinking. That's it for today. Thank you very much for dialing in. Looking forward to see you next time again, and see you next week. Thanks for listening to today's episode. You will find the links and resources in the show notes of this episode. If you would like to support the podcast, the most impactful thing you can do is subscribing to the show on any of the podcasting platforms and give me a review. This will help me to reach more innovators around the world and bring some of you into the show. If you have any question to the guest or want to engage with me, feel free to reach out to me on social media and contact me there.